Welcome, viewers. Have you noticed that food prices in the UK are still very high? Even simple things like bread, milk, eggs, and vegetables are costing more than before. Many families are struggling to keep up. So now a big question is being asked: should the government step in and limit supermarkets' prices? Well, the UK government has now made its decision, and unfortunately, the answer is no. But why the government rejected supermarket price caps, what price caps actually means, and how this decision could affect millions of people across the country. Over the past few years, the cost of living in the UK has gone up sharply. Food bills, energy bills, rent, and everyday shopping have all become very expensive. For many families, a normal weekly food shop now costs much more than it used to. Some people are cutting back on treats, buying cheaper brands, or even skipping certain items completely just to save money. Because of this, some politicians and campaign groups suggested a new idea. They wanted the government to place limits on the prices supermarket can charge for basic food items. This is called a price cap. A price cap means the government sets a maximum price for the certain products. For example, if milk becomes too expensive, the government could say supermarkets are not allowed to use uh, supermarket are not allowed to charge more than a certain amount. And supporter of the idea said this could help families struggling with rising costs. This sounded like a simple solution. Lower prices would help shoppers, right? But the government says it is not that simple. The UK government has officially ruled out forcing supermarkets to limit food price. Minister says price cap could actually create new problems instead of fixing existing ones. One of their biggest concern is food storage. Here is a simple example: is imagine a supermarket is forced to sell bread at a very low price. If the supermarket cannot make enough money from selling that bread, it may order less from suppliers, and suppliers might also produce less because they are earning less money. Then all the shelves in the supermarket becomes empty because stores may not want to stock products that bring very little profit. The government also worries that strict price controls could hurt smaller shops more than a big supermarket chain. Large supermarkets might survive because they have more money, but smaller local shops could struggle badly, very badly. Another concern is that supermarkets might quietly raise prices and other products to make up for losses on kept items. So even if one product becomes cheaper, other things could end up costing more. Because of this risk, the government says price controls are not the best answer. Instead of setting price caps, ministers say they want supermarkets to compete with each other naturally. The government believes competition is what keep prices lower. Think about it this way: if one supermarket offer cheaper milk, bread, or vegetables, customers may choose to shop there instead of somewhere more expensive. Then other supermarkets may lower their prices too in order to keep the customer coming back. And this competition can sometimes help bring prices down without government controls. The government is also encouraging supermarkets to continue offering discounts, loyalty deals. You've probably seen stores promoting value products or special offers recently. Many supermarkets are expanding these cheaper options because they know customers are always trying to save money. Some supermarkets have even frozen prices on certain products for a short period or to help shoppers. So rather than forcing stores to lower prices, the government wants supermarket to do it voluntarily. But many people are still frustrated. A lot of families feel food prices are still far too high, even with discounts and cheaper brands. Some shoppers say they now spend much more money each week but leave the supermarket with fewer items. On the other hand, people are saying they are changing eating habits completely because healthy food can be expensive. Parents, especially, are worried about feeding their children on tight budgets. And it's not just food. And many households are still dealing with expensive electricity bills, higher rent, and rising mortgage payments. That's why the debate over supermarket prices has become such a major topic in the UK. And now people want to know who should take responsibilities for helping struggling families. Should the government step in more directly, or should supermarkets and the business solve the problem through competition? Everyone seems to have different opinions. Some experts agree with the government's decision. They say the history shows that strict prices control can sometimes backfire. In some countries, price cap have led to empty shelves or fewer products being available because companies stopped selling items that no longer made enough profit. And these experts believe free competition usually works better over time, but others disagree. What critics say is supermarkets are still making large profits while ordinary people struggling to afford basic groceries. They argue that strong action may still be needed if prices continue rising. So this debate is probably not going away anytime soon. Another important point is inflation. Inflation means the general rise in prices over time. When inflation is high, food, fuel, transport, and many other things becomes more expensive. The UK has been dealing with high inflation for quite a while now, although it has started slowing down compared to earlier peaks. Even so, many people say they still don't feel much relief in daily life. That's because prices may stop rising quickly, but they often stay high instead of dropping back down. So families continue feeling pressure every time they go shopping. This is why food prices remain such an emotional and political issue. At the moment, the government says its main focus is helping the economy improve and bringing inflation down naturally. Officials hope that over time, this will help reduce pressures on household budgets. But for many people, watching their spending closely every week, that relief may not feel like it's coming fast enough. And until food prices become easier to manage, this debate about supermarket price cap is likely to continue. End of the day, the UK government has decided not to force supermarket to limit food prices, and whoever supporting the price caps, they believe they could help families struggling with expensive grocery bills. But the government says price control could cause shortage, hard businesses, and create even bigger problems. Instead, ministers want supermarkets to compete with each other, offer discounts, and keep prices lower naturally. Meanwhile, millions of families across the UK are still feeling the pressures of the cost of living crisis every single day. But what I think, government should step in and control supermarket prices for a few months maybe, and then they can change it back to go back to normal. Yes, just for a trial. Let me know your thoughts. You may think something different. If you have different opinions, put the comments and we can share each other. This is how we get to know at least how can we solve the problem. Thanks for watching. Share this video if you like, and I'll see you in the next video.